Hello everyone and welcome back to another Train Sim World 2 news video. Also, you've had the Riesa to Dresden and the Brighton Main Line now, so it is the North East Corridor Boston to Providence. Obviously the developer article or interview. So we talked to the development team about building North East Corridor Boston to Providence in Train Sim World 2. We're joined by Tom Walters, who is the lead vehicle artist on Train Sim World 2, Matt Pedleston, the senior producer on Train Sim World 2, and Brandon Fillen, who has been helping us to create North East Corridor Boston to Providence. So, what has your involvement been with Rush Hour? So, Brandon says, for Dovetail Games, I'm contracted for hire. Dovetail will come to me asking if there's things I want to be a part of, and I will usually say yes. It's been a good experience for me. For Rush Hour, the curation of this route is the only involvement I have had. This is something I started on my own back in 2019 when Matt actually got me involved with testing a new project for Train Sim World 2020. When I created this route, I never anticipated it would leave my computer, so it's really cool. When I first started, I began playing around and laying track. I was then deployed with my job, and while I was away, I took my laptop with me and kept on working on this project in my spare time. By the time I came back and I had done track train signals, a 24-hour service mode timetable, along with some little things. So I'm guessing it's pretty much almost done then, the North East Corridor. Brilliant. And Matt says, for me, it's been about the broad spec of Rush Hour and everything that is involved. We felt it was important to get NEC back in the game, and the work that Brandon had already done with Boston's Providence wasn't an opportunity I wanted to miss. It had always sat with me that Brandon had created this amazing track plan and the working timetable, and it left me thinking, how can we do something with that and bring it to the people? We then realised that with Rush Hour it will fit nicely with what we are trying to do, so I spoke to Brandon and we arranged to bring it across. The way it has been is built very different to how would we have created ourselves in terms of how it accesses assets. We have recently been focusing on solving those asset problems. We've also made some changes to the route that we got from Brandon, and we've worked on some parts of the route that weren't quite finished. My work has been doing something similar with the timetable, and I will be rejigging it as we create the MBTA F40PH-3C and the Amtrak ACS 64 and get them actually into the game. I will be updating the timetable to use those bits of stock. I currently have all of the Amtrak services operational, and I'm starting to get the MBTA parts operational too. It's all lighting up pretty quickly now thanks to all of the hard work Brandon put in to start with. What gives this route the Rush Hour feel? Brandon says, what makes this fit into the Rush Hour theme is definitely the operations around Boston South Station. Our other part of the line is usually busy, but not nearly as busy until you get right around Boston. And then you throw all of the Amtrak trains on top of that, and you have a lot of traffic at peak hours. And then Matt says, what this means is there will be a lot of services running in and out of Boston South Station, what will create that notion of rush hour, and it's similar to the Dresden route, where you'll be following trains until you get near Dresden, and it's fight into the busy station. The last couple of stops will be the worst ones because it's where the density of services escalates massively as all of these other lines converge. That's what you will get coming to Boston South Station. And then Brandon says it's not uncommon to be waiting at a signal for up to 5 minutes or so, waiting for some trains to move through Tower 1 in and out of the station. It's congested for sure, and it fits the rush hour theme appropriately. There is a priority, and Amtrak have that priority, so as a player you won't typically come across too many stop signals if you are operating an Amtrak consist. What has it been like bringing Amtrak back to the game? Tom says, it's great to see the representation of Amtrak back into the game. They are the largest passenger operator in the United States, and their absence has certainly been felt. We have a great relationship with Amtrak, so it's great that we are able to get them back into the game so the players can drive Amtrak again. They were very forthcoming with providing us guidance on how locomotives worked, anything they could provide us to make sure we get it spot on. They are as passionate about Amtrak as we are about trains. It's a good match merging both passions. Can you tell us about MBTA? So Tom says Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority are a regional passenger operator in the Boston area. They have a very striking livery colour. This is a new partnership and a new area. We haven't done any MBTA stuff for any of our products before, so it will all be brand new. How did you gather all of the information you required for this new route? So Tom says MBTA have been very cooperative and keen to work with us. They actually asked if they could be in our game through Twitter, and that's how the relationship started. We couldn't go out to take pictures like we would normally do, so thankfully Gary Dolzo was prepared to help and do it on our behalf. We arranged a resource survey, and that's been fantastic. It's taken a lot of the guesswork out, and it has helped us to capture the details we wouldn't necessarily know to look for. The rolling stock that comes with this is the F40PH-3C. MBTA have had an ongoing rebuild program for the F40PH-2Cs, which is a modernisation plan to keep them running for a good number of years more. The F40PH-3Cs are the more modern locos that they are including. We are also including some of the single-level coaches along with the cab car. It will be quite a different driving experience depending on which end you are at. What do you find exciting about this route? Brandon says, this section of the Northeast Corridor is really unique in that it features the highest speeds on the entire corridor. Although the player won't be able to operate the fastest train on this route, doesn't mean they won't be able to experience high speeds. The ACS 64 has the capability to actually reach its maximum operating speed on this route, which is the first time you'll be able to experience this. You're able to hit speeds of 125 miles an hour for sustained periods of time over a course of several miles. Roughly 80% of this route is 100 miles or higher for this train, so the speeds and the variety in the scenery are also exciting. One moment you'll be suburban area surrounded by trees. The next you will be driving down a 1% grade at 110 miles an hour into a trench below street level that's surrounded by concrete. All things considered, it's really cool to see all of that in the package. And then Tom says, I am keen to see the reaction to more American passenger content. We've done some Amtrak and Caltrain in the past. Traditionally, there's not been as much variety in the US as there is in the UK or Europe. It's great to have Amtrak back in the game and also bring something completely new with the MBTA. And Matt says, I like the fact that it's got the variety of operators. You've got the MBTA and Amtrak who have got different stopping patterns on the route, and it's just a different feel. You've very got different trains to drive. MBTA is a diesel electric, whereas Amtrak is overhead electric. We've got the brand new coaches and cab car on the MBTA trains. With its single deck coaches, it's new and exciting. To echo what Brandon said, the changing scenery is great because the last bit of the route is essentially where you're going from countryside to the big city. You get that entire transition from being out in the fields with the trees to diving into trenches, in and amongst the local lines and dense traffic. One of the things that I am really just fascinated by this route is just south of Boston South Station is Southampton Street Yard. There's a big balloon loop in the yard. When looking at the route to start, we notice Amtrak trains don't run with cab cars north of New York Penn. They only use the cab cars south of New York Penn. So the question was, how do you turn the train around? They have a locomotive at one end and there's nothing but buffer stops at Boston Station. So how does that loco get on the other end? Normally in the UK you would do a loco swap or something like that. When you look into the process and procedures for Amtrak, loco swaps aren't actually time consuming because of all the testing brakes and all that sort of stuff. So what they actually do is reverse the train out of Boston Station south into the yard around this giant loop and then reverse it back into the station again, which now has the loco on the correct side again. That's really unique and it will be in there for players to do. It's something I'm really looking forward to seeing in the game. I also have to mention how much I like the colour of the MBTA train. I think because it's pink and Matt loves his pink. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's developer interview. Obviously brilliant interview there for Matt, Tom and Brandon. Really looking forward to the Northeast Corridor. Obviously do pop all your thoughts in the comments below. But that is going to be it from me. Obviously we'll find a link in the description to the Discord server, to the PayPal and also to the merch store. Obviously 20% off at the moment until the 21st of June using the promo code SPRING20. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for coming in and I hope we'll see you next time. See you all. Take care.